Now let's discuss a few red flags that you may come across during your product research experience, and these are general topics that you really should know and note when you're doing your research so you can avoid products such as these. It's basically topics, and certain products will fall under these types of categories, and I'll give you reasons to why you should avoid them. So the very first thing is I'm going to show you a few markets, right? These balloons and, for example, these bachelor party decorations right here, okay? Really random. You might ask, why am I showing you this, right? Look at these balloons. There's different colors, different type of packs of them for different occasions. There's just a lot to choose from. There's 100 pieces here, a 50 pack, 100 pack. Some are golden, some are rainbow, some are blue, right? Then we go over here to bachelorette party decorations, and you kind of see a similar trend. There are a lot of products. There is balloons, there is, what are those called? Veils, little tints, I don't even know what they're called. There's a lot of options. So you might look at this and you could see that the reviews are quite low on this, and you might think, okay, this is actually pretty great because it's a product that's very lightweight. It's going to be really easy to ship to Amazon. It's going to be very inexpensive to source. I can probably get on the first page because I'm seeing that, you know, people are having really low reviews and they're doing quite well. However, there is a big issue with these types of markets, and this is one example, is these party favors or thank you cards, things like that, okay? The reason and the problem is that there are just too many variations within this market. There are so many different products, and you cannot possibly do enough research to find out what your customers are actually preferring. There's too much to pick from. And right here, I am using Helium 10. We talked about this earlier. We're going to get into the software in much more detail, but I am just using their magnet tool, which you basically type in a keyword and it pulls together other keywords that the product could be ranking for as well. And also it gives you the search volume, which is telling you how many monthly searches people are doing within Amazon for this specific product. And I typed in bachelorette party decorations, which is right here, and it's showing that there is 13,000 searches, which is actually quite not bad. You know that I like to do this business model low risk, and if you were to show me this type of volume, I would say this is something that's not very competitive, and you could probably go in and do things low risk in this market. However, the problem becomes is that this search volume is going to get very diluted within the market, so you're not going to feel the full effect of the 13,000 searches for your specific product because there are so many different variations and ideas for this product. You could literally do anything. You can do tattoos, banners, balloons, anything. And the same applies for this product right here. So these type of markets, although they look like they could be doing well because it looks easier to do, keep in mind that when there are a lot of variations of different types of products on the first page, that is almost a disadvantage. There could be different types of keywords that could be attributed to your product, so you're not really sure where those sales are coming from. It's possible to go and investigate. I'm not saying everybody that does these types of products is going to fail, but I'm making you aware of these factors. Maybe you can go and do your research and really deep to find all the keywords, see what else the products are ranking for, really analyze the markets based on reviews, but it's really going to be a headache, and the chances are much lower to be successful in these types of markets because of that reason. And since we are on the topic of variations, I also wanted to point something out. I touched on this earlier, but I just really want to make sure that you're aware of this. Products that have too many variations are also kind of a red flag zone, especially items such as clothing, right? You are thinking, okay, I'm gonna launch a t-shirt. People might like it in black, they might like it in white, they might like it in pink or blue, and then you also have the small, the medium, the large, the extra large, all of the sizes, right? So people are different. They're going to want a different color, a different size. And if you go out and you order products that all your inventory is different sizes and colors, it's going to be very difficult to maintain it. It's almost like you're launching many different products all at once, and that's also not recommended. You're tying up your money, you're not getting accurate data, and I just suggest from products that have too many variations. You want to begin your brands, and you can actually build great brands when there's only one of your product, and then maybe you launch new variations as their own listings and kind of dominate the search terms of that product by having several different Amazon listings. But you don't want to have 20 different different types of items and variations all under one listing, because that's really going to give you cash flow issues and you're not making the best use of your money. Plus, if you go into a market where everyone has variations except for you, then people are simply not going to buy from you. They're going to prefer the seller that has 20 variations, 20 different sizes. It's just obvious. Plus, a lot of the cheaper products you'll see that have many variations, they're typically Chinese sellers, and they have access to the inventory for a very, very low cost. So they can get this type of items manufactured very fast, very easy, at very cheap rates, and they can afford to have those variations and dominate the market like that. So it's not a good strategy to go for, and I recommend against it. So keep that in mind with the variations, and also what I touched on earlier, which is, I would call it a diluted search volume of products such as balloons or bachelor party decorations or thank you cards, situations such as this. Another thing I want to mention again is make sure to check for brand dominance as well as Amazon dominance. Here's a great example. Let's just run the extension on these poster boards. Although this looks like an amazing market, you'll notice that there are two issues with this. One being that the FBA fees are just too high. As you can see here, obviously a poster board is quite a large object. Its length, its width, and although it's not heavy, it still takes quite a large chunk of size. And not only is that going to affect your shipping to the United States, but that's also going to heavily affect the FBA fee. As you can see right here, it is quite high for most of these. $18 is just crazy, even though they're selling it with a margin. But a lot of these, okay, even this person, like, he is literally losing money. You can see that the FBA is $13 and his price right now is $11, but they're Amazon, so maybe they're giving themselves a discount on the fee. I don't know what they're doing, but just do the math. It doesn't add up. So that's one problem here. But the second problem is, of course, you want to check for brand dominance. And that's actually what I touched on earlier. Is there a specific brand that's dominating? For example, right here we can see School Smart has 1, 2, 3. They have 4 spots on the first page, plus they have a sponsored ad running for this. So that's a red flag. I wouldn't go into a market that is brand dominated like that. And also, I would not go into a market that is heavily Amazon dominated. So you want to check for both, because sometimes obviously Amazon names their brand as something else and you might miss the fact that it's Amazon dominated if you don't check this factor. So you can see here the buy box is basically who is selling their product and who customers are allowed to buy from, and Amazon is pretty much most of the first page right here, and that's not something you want to compete with. That's definitely a red flag, and watch out for these types of situations.